What's going on, y'all? Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you'd like to donate to the channel, the cash app's to the top right corner of the video. But let's get into it, man, because it looks like Drake is going toe to toe with Kendrick Lamar in the charts. That's right. As you can see here, Drake had recently dropped this album, and it looks like him and Kendrick Lamar are the only ones to be seen in the top 10 as far as Apple Music goes. It looks like this conversation is circulated around Apple Music itself. Drake and Party Next Door currently occupy 8 of the top 10 spots on US Apple Music. Now, going by the list here, it says that this is the American top 100 charts with CN as the number one, Luther, and Not Like Us. We have Mothballs, Something About You, Give Me a Hug, Crying in Chanel, Deeper, Spider Man, Superman, and Small Town Fame. Now, it looks like they were able to secure 8 positions in the top 10 spot, and Luther and Not Like Us still remaining in the top 2 and 3 position. Now, CN Tower, I wouldn't really worry about CN Tower, to be quite honest with you, for the sole reason that CN Tower is actually the first song that comes out in the album. So I wouldn't really count it. As soon as you play this album, it's the intro for this album. So it doesn't really count at all, if you ask me. That's just my opinion. You could take it or leave it the way that you come. But I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't count it as much. It's not the track that people are talking about. I think the track that is gaining a lot more conversation, a lot more traction would probably be Give Me a Hug. I think that one is the one that's been in conversation the most out of anything. So I don't think CN Tower is anything to worry about at this time. I think Give Me a Hug and Brian Steele are the only 2 songs that are currently making a noise in the headlines. But going back to this album real quick, it's been a day since it's been out. Obviously, everything is just coming out right now. Drake just released this album. It's been about 24 hours. And I think that in a week, we're going to see how well this album does. I want to tell you right now, I don't think sales, like I said, and I said it time and time again, sales aren't what make an album great. First week sales don't make an album great, but will it stand the test of time? Will this album have any relevancy after the first week, after the first month, after 2 months? How relevant will this album stay? It's going toe to toe right now in the charts with Kendrick Lamar as far as the US top 100. However, I do want to point out that I think that this album isn't going to stay on here for a long time. That's just me being realistic in this case, because I think that this album was more so for Drake to test the waters. I think this was Drake checking the temperature with the audience and seeing where he's at. He made this album so that way he could check the temperature with the people and see where he stands. And he played it safe when dropping this album because, of course, words going around that this is a Party Next Door album, but also a collaboration with Drake. So even if it doesn't reach the expectations of the people, or it doesn't reach the expectations of his recent albums, he kind of has something to play it safe with. By saying that it's Party Next Door's album, by saying it's a collaboration album, if he doesn't meet the expectation he wants, there could be some type of defense that he has. What's also interesting is that Kendrick Lamar had a big resurgence in the GNX album after the Super Bowl. I mean, it's been doing well since it came out, but now that the Super Bowl had took place, he's been getting a lot of love off of this album all over again. A lot of people were questioning the track list, saying that there was too many songs on GNX that people didn't know. But it looks like a good portion of people had looked up GNX right after his performance. Either they're going back to it, or people that weren't in the know went and had to go check it out because they saw him perform a couple of the songs on the Super Bowl. And what's crazy is that he's going to reclaim the number 1 spot in the Billboard 200 with 247K units sold in the 12th week. But like I said, what doesn't matter is the sell. The dollar sign isn't what matters. No pun intended. What really matters is the relevancy of the song. How good and how long will the song stay relevant? You see, the thing with Luther, going back to Luther here, it's gained its own success coming off of GNX. A lot of people really enjoy the song because it's very enjoyable. What are the chances that any of these songs from the new album that Drake released will have the same effect and have the same amount of longevity? I think that Drake released this album solely for the purpose just to see where he's at after not releasing music for a while. I'm not expecting any of these songs to stay in the top 10, nor do I think a majority of them will stay in the top 100. I really believe out of all the songs on the album, only 2 will have any relevancy after a few months, maybe even less than that, maybe just a month. We saw how 100 Gigs did. It stayed in the top 100 for not too long before it fell out of place. But this whole album is going to get a lot of traction because of the things that Drake had said on Brian Steele and Give Me a Hug. I think those 2 songs are the only ones that will stay above every other song on this album, including CN Tower. I don't think that CN Tower is going to stay number 1 very long. Like I said, it's just people tapping into the album. It's the first song on the album. So, of course, it's going to be at the top. But I think Drake did that intentionally because of the name of the song being CN Tower. But going back to the track where Drake said that he had something in the summer, I think that's where he drops a project by himself, where he's not going to use Party Next Door as a scapegoat, where he's not going to use a collaboration album as a scapegoat. If he comes along in the summer and drops an album where it's just him by himself, I think that that's when he's actually trying to drop something more serious. I think this right here, he was trying to leave a message, whether it be him leaving a note in the description of this album, making that statement, that very vague statement, and then right after making songs where you're referencing the beef in the lyrics. I think this was Drake trying to respond to a couple of things as he checks the temperature before he actually works on something on his own. But as him and Kendrick are going at it on the charts, I really don't think that a majority of these songs will last a long time. Keep in mind that globally, Not Like Us and Luther are still at the number 1 and 2 spot. We could talk about America, we could talk about Canada, we could talk about other countries, but globally, Not Like Us and Luther are at the number 1 spot. And like I said, it's all about longevity. How long are you going to be able to stay in the charts for as long as you can? How well will the music resonate with the people to the point where they carry it and you don't have to promote it and you don't have to be with the gimmick or you don't have to do anything for the people to get with it? How well will any of these songs hold up to Luther and Not Like Us, as well as the other songs from GNX? Remember, GNX has been out for about 4 months now, close to 4 months at this point, and it's still in the top 100 globally. Not Like Us as well. Not Like Us has been out since May. Do you really think that this album is going to stay on the charts that long? Especially because there's a conversation lingering around about it being a little repetitive. And like I said, this is more so a Party Next Door collaboration album. It's not really an album that I think that Drake is intending to be his end all be all. I think somewhere down the line, we're going to hear Drake release an album by himself. And I think that's when he's going to try to make a song that is going to stick. And like I said, try to. We'll see how that goes. But as far as right now, currently, I don't think any of these songs are going to stick in the position that they're at now. I think most of these songs will plummet and eventually fall out the top 100. And remember, Kendrick just went through a whole resurgence with the Super Bowl. Everything has jumped up over 200%, 288% from the clothes that he was wearing, the shoes, the music, GNX, Not Like Us. Everything just jumped up like enormously. It's just crazy how, how much everything just sparked back up after he performed at the Super Bowl. So this is all the sales that are coming right after he performed in the 12th week. So it looks like this continued to give it a push already. He was already doing well. He was already doing well with GNX. It was already in a top position as it was. But after the Super Bowl, it's just going to gain more and more traction the more other audiences listen to it. Because I think a lot of people were put on to GNX even after the fact, after the Super Bowl. But yeah, like I said, I think this is just Drake checking the temperature, just seeing how everything is. First time being out in a very long time. So I think it's fair to say that these songs aren't something that he's expecting to stay on the top either. I don't think he's really expecting these to do really well either. I think it's safe to say that this album might just be a throwaway, might just be something to help Party Next Door out. Like I said, Lash Tech music. But we'll see if Drake comes with something more serious. Right now, it does look like Kendrick and Drake are going at it toe to toe on the Apple Music chart list. But I personally don't think that it's going to pass Not Like Us or Luther globally, nor do I think that a majority of the tracks will stay in the position that they're in right now. But only time will tell. Only time will tell with these type of things. Like I said, you could count the sales, you could go by sales, you could go by the metrics of that, or you could just see which songs are staying in the charts because of how popular they are with the people. You could see which songs are really doing well and being boosted up in the charts because the people are listening to them. It takes a lot for a song or an album to say to stay this relevant as long as GNX has. I don't think this project is better than GNX. I really don't think so. There's a lot of things that I could say. One in particular, it being a collaboration album. It's not a body of work that is just Drake's. And I think that's the big problem here. And I think that's why the album or the songs in it aren't gonna stay relevant for too long. We'll have to wait and see. It's very hard to get an album, a single, to stay in the charts as long as Not Like Us has. May 2024, Luther for 4 months. Think about that real quick. How many weeks is that? That's insane, bro. But like I said, we'll see how this goes. We'll see how it goes moving forward. I think it's going to take a lot to move Not Like Us out of the global position. As far as the American top 100, I'm gonna be real, bro. A majority of these songs aren't going to stay on here that long, bro. But we'll see how this album does within its first week. We'll see how it does moving forward. And we'll see which song from all of these songs will stand the test of time. So we'll see how long this one will last. It might last a little bit longer, but I don't expect it to blow anything out of the water. I don't expect it to last that long. Like I said, I think this is just Drake checking the temperature, just seeing how it is outside after being gone for quite some time, playing it safe, doing collaboration album, trying to use Party Next Door as a scapegoat. But we'll see where it goes globally, and we'll see how things move in the American charts. But like I said, really hard accolade to achieve. Not Like Us since May 2024, Luther for about 4 months. Y'all tell me how you feel about them going at it in the charts, though, man. Y'all tell me how you feel about Kendrick and Drake going at it toe to toe in the Apple Music charts. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video, man. Peace. Keep it alleged.